All right, welcome back. We will continue our mock draft here. Once again, doing alongside Darian Coleman and Chris Moore. We're going to now pick apart 11 through 20 with our mock draft. So, Chris, I'll start with you with the 11th pick. Titans on the clock. Who do they pick?
Titans, I think they've got a young offense. I think they're going to give that time to develop, but I think that they're in a rebuilding process, and I think that's going to start with defense. Everybody saw what Seattle did last year. I think they go corner, and I think they go one of the better cornerbacks in the draft with Justin Gilbert.
I agree completely. I think they lost Alton Werner this year. He played a very good corner for them. He's now in Tampa. They added a nice piece to their defense. But I think they will try to replace him with Justin Gilbert from Oklahoma State. I do feel like he's the best corner in this draft, and I think that defense should be a little more solidified once he develops into the player he has potential to be.
I agree with you all. Justin Gilbert is the pick. A lot of on the big boards, number one corner. So Justin Gilbert will be the pick there. New York Giants had a rough year. We know Eli Manning struggled. So we'll look at the New York Giants. Who do you think they picked there?
I'm going to have the New York Giants taking Jake Matthews, the tackle. I think they need some O-line help. I think that's part of the reason why Eli struggled so mightily. He wasn't fully protected. But I also think if Eric Ebron is available, they might take him too because I think they let Brandon Myers go, didn't they? So they'll need a tight end.
Each year they have a new tight end. So.
Yeah, every year they do have new tight ends.
Yeah. I agree I agree that they're taking offensive lineman. I think that they're going Zach Martin out of Notre Dame. I think that their big problem was Eli Manning couldn't stay upright, and now he had ankle surgery. So I think that their big concern is going to be get Eli Manning some protection, get him some help. And they could take Ebron, but I think that they got to go offensive line. I think they have to.
I do too.
To your point, I agree. Offensive line here, and I think Taylor Lewan will be the pick here to help give Eli Manning some protection. So we'll move on to the St. Louis Rams. So their second pick in the first round. Darian, who do the Rams take at 13?
The Rams are coached by Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher likes defense. So I think they'll take Darqueze Dennard. Darqueze Dennard, okay. Well, quarterback, he's from Michigan State. They had a nice year in the Big Ten. So I think
won the Big Ten.
Yeah, they did win the Big Ten. So
the big reason was that defense. So.
And he was part of it.
Yeah.
He took out a lot of number one receivers last year, and I feel like that'll be a good pick for them.
I said earlier when they took an offensive lineman, I think that they're building around Sam Bradford. I think that's their big worry is we know the defense is solid. They have a great front four. So I think that they're going to continue to try and build around Sam Bradford. I think they're going Eric Ebron here. I think they're going to get Sam Bradford another weapon to go with Tavon Austin.
With the Rams, I think they'll go Darqueze Dennard as well. Cornerback helps solidify that secondary against some of the quarterbacks in that division. So, like you said, Jeff Fisher's a defensive guy. Now, next we have Chicago Bears, Chicago Bears, NFC North. Chris, who do you think the Bears take?
No matter what the Bears do, there's no way it's not on defense. They have to solidify. And I think we agree here, Darian. They have to go Aaron Donald to me. Got to get somebody in the middle of that defense to stop somebody from running the football. I think any three of us could have ran the ball on that defense last year. I think they're going Aaron Donald.
Their run defense has actually been horrible the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I agree. Aaron McDonald's the best defensive tackle. I think a lot of people, he flew on a lot of radars because he played at Pittsburgh, which they don't really do too much.
Yeah.
So, but he is a solid defensive tackle. He's not the tallest guy, but he's strong and he can hold his own.
And they need somebody.
They definitely need somebody to stop the run.
Talk about they need somebody with the division they play in. NFC North. Who's in that division?
Aaron Rodgers.
Matt Stafford.
Guys who like to what? Throw the football down the field. When you have guys like to throw the football down the field, you need somebody who can play center field, and that will be Calvin Pryor, the free safety out of Louisville, on Teddy Bridgewater's team. Very underrated. Not talked about a lot, but I think come in and start for that Bears defense, get a couple interceptions, be a good defensive rookie. Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 15, an unusual high spot, but kind of similar to the past couple of years, Darian. A team that we know you're not too fond of.
Not at all.
Who do you think the Steelers take here at 15?
I think the Steelers losing Emmanuel Sanders, they're going to try to replace him. I think that they'll take Marquise Lee from USC. He's a dynamic playmaker, and I think he can help Big Ben out in pressure situations. You know, Big Ben likes to dance around and do a bunch of nonsense back there in the pocket. So
it does work, though. I know you don't like it, but it's worked.
Oh, I don't like it, but again, that's why I'm picking them to draft him because I feel like he would be the best receiver available. But that's my pick for the Steelers.
I'm going receiver too. I think that their Steelers honestly are kind of far off. I know they were close to making the playoffs last year, but there's a lot of pieces here that they need to go. I think they'll go receiver. I think that they could go offensive line, but I think that a lot of the offensive linemen that they could take are gone by now. So I think they're going to go Brandon Cooks, a wide receiver out of Oregon State. We don't get to see him much, but he's a good player. He's a solid wide receiver, and I think the Steelers need somebody opposite Antonio Brown.
I think the Steelers follow the mold, go SEC, a grinded out receiver, Odell Beckham. Give Big Ben a big target down the field, someone who can help, create and break free and get open. Odell Beckham goes to the Steelers, I think, to help Big Ben out. Still underrated quarterback in his league. Now we got the Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys. I'm guessing we're all going to pick defense here. Chris, who do you think the Cowboys take at 16? Horrible defense last year.
I'm going defense. I'm going Darqueze Dennard. He's actually my favorite corner out of this draft. I think he was one of the anchors of that defense last year that was so great, best in the country numbers wise. So I think Michigan State needs defensive guys, Dallas needs defensive guys. I think they're going to go Darqueze Dennard, cornerback out of Michigan State.
I think Dallas has a lot of needs. One of them is offensive line, but I feel like they won't address that because I like Tyron Smith holding down that left tackle spot. They let go of DeMarcus Ware. They just have a lot of needs at every level of their defense. Sean Lee kind of has a lot of injury issues.
Yeah.
So I think they'll try to help him out in the middle of that defense. I think they'll draft C.J. Mosley, the middle linebacker from Alabama. You draft any Alabama Crimson Tide player on defense, they're probably pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll help solidify the interior of that defense.
With that being said, I think that the Cowboys take Aaron Donald, the guy in the pit that you were just talking about earlier. Not seen a lot on TV, but I think helps solidify that defense. You always want to start building up the middle on that. So getting Aaron Donald up the middle would help out that defense. Baltimore Ravens, number 17. 2 years ago, they were the Super Bowl champions. Went to an 8-8 year. Darian, what do you think about what this team will do at 17?
I think they drafted Matt Elam last year, and they had him play the free safety position, but that's really not his natural spot. I think they would like him more in the box as a strong safety. So I think they'll draft a free safety, and that free safety is Calvin Pryor from Louisville. I feel like he's rangy. He has nice size for a free safety, and I think he can make plays. He ran a nice time in the 40, so he can cover the field. I think that'll be a good fit for John Harbaugh and the Ravens.
I'm going Odell Beckham here. I think that they do have some needs, but this is a team that's very close, and I think that the more weapons you give Joe Flacco. I know they got Steve Smith, but he's a little older now.
Brought Jacoby back.
Yeah, but I think that both of those guys are fairly one-dimensional. They're speed guys, and Torrey Smith is definitely developing them more. You have three guys that take the top off the defense. So I think they're going to go Odell Beckham here.
They also got Pitt over the middle.
Yeah.
And Daniels. Personally, I think Ravens go offensive tackle here, re-sign Eugene Monroe. Still have a hold to right tackle or leaving to Tennessee. But I think Zach Martin out of Notre Dame, a little undersized, size of a guard. But I think he'll be a good tackle, especially on the right side. So we go to the New York Jets. Rex Ryan's still there, but he's still in a hot seat. But every time they say he's still there. So who do the Jets go with here, Chris, at 18?
I think that, I know Rex Ryan loves defense, but they have to go get Geno Smith a weapon. I think they got to go Marquise Lee here. Whoever the best wide receiver they think is available, I think they got to go with. For me, it's Marquise Lee. I think that's where they're going.
I agree about the best wide receiver available. They need a lot of weapons on that offense. They let go of Santonio Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Decker is a good, not great receiver.
He's a number two. I think he's a number two.
He is a number two, and I think the best receiver, in my mind, who would be available is Odell Beckham from LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a shifty guy who can help open up some space, create some space, and give somewhere for Geno Smith to throw the ball to or Vic, whoever started for them this year. But they added Chris Johnson. They tried to solidify the running game. I think they just need to add a weapon, and they'll be back contending for the AFC's second spot.
They could
Patriots.
They could contend with New England, honestly.
They can beat New England.
They can beat them off of division rival New England.
Should have beat them twice last year. Geno Smith
should have beat them twice last year, but they're just not a better team than the Patriots.
Speaking of Geno Smith, I know everybody's saying Vic's going to take the spot. I think Geno comes into camp, wins the job. He did play pretty well down the stretch last year. Let's not forget, even with the lack of talent, still went 8-8. Defense had a lot to do with it, but he had to make still some plays. I think he showed he can make plays. Did throw a few games away, but rookie quarterbacks do that. They did get him a weapon. I think the third best receiver in this draft is Marquise Lee. Not talked about enough. Take the top off of defense. May not play fast with the 40 time and things like that, but he can, on tape, he's fast, he's explosive. He can catch the ball, go over the middle. I think, and special teams. Big phase of the game to forget about. He can return kicks and punts. So we'll move on to the Miami Dolphins, another AFC East team. Chris, who did the Dolphins take at number 19?
I think they go best available. I think C.J. Mosley will still be there for me. I think they're going to go best available. Go C.J. Mosley, like you said. I said it earlier. You get a defense player out of Alabama. He can probably help you out, and he knows how to win. I think they'll go C.J. Mosley.
The Dolphins had that whole situation with their O lineman earlier, and they got rid of everybody outside of Pouncey. So they brought in Brandon Albert. I think they still need to help solidify that offensive line, and I think with that they'll take Zach Martin from Notre Dame. I think he's a nice tackle. I like his career, 4-year starter at Notre Dame. So he's developed and he moves his feet very well. He can play either left or right tackle. Since they signed Brandon Albert, he'll probably play right tackle. But I think that's the best fit for Miami.
Personally, I think the Dolphins could improve their offensive line. I think they go best available. I think C.J. Mosley, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, that he'll play middle linebacker for them for the immediate future. All right, Darian, number 20 here. The Arizona Cardinals team that finished right out of the playoffs last year. What do you think they do?
I think they'll go quarterback. I don't think they're sold on Carson Palmer. He's on the tail end of his career. I think they need to develop. If they do start Carson and they draft, I think they'll draft Derek Carr here from Fresno State. I think they should draft him and maybe let him sit a year, follow under Carson Palmer's lead, and then take over the franchise probably in the next couple of years.
For me, though, I think Arizona is a win now situation. So I don't think with their first pick they'll go with a quarterback because Carson Palmer can win you games. He can get you to the playoffs. And I think if he doesn't throw interceptions, he can win you a Super Bowl.
That's a big
that's a big problem. But I think they're going to go Anthony Barr. I think he's fallen on a lot of draft boards. He really is. But I think that Arizona's proven how great their defense is, especially in the secondary with Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Matthew. Yeah, I think they're going to improve a little bit up front with Anthony Barr, who can play outside linebacker or defensive end. I know he's fallen, but when you get some versatility like that, I think that that's a good move to take.
Personally, I think the Cardinals will take Derek Carr here. Guy who's been rising up a lot of draft boards with the quarterback position. I think he's better than his brother David Carr. We all remember how horrendous his career was. I think Derek Carr will get the job done. Go to the Cardinals, beat out Carson Palmer, whose contract does expire after this year. Get Larry Fitzgerald a legit quarterback. That will wrap up 11 through 20. We will be right back with the final segment, 21 through 32, on our mock draft.